At first glance, this guy would look like he could barely move, let alone do spinning jump kicks in the air in a professional fight. A freak of nature and one of the most agile fighters in the UFC, while also being one of the heaviest as well. He didn't let his weight pull him down and beat everyone up who stepped in the ring against him. This is the story of Chris Burnett. Christopher James Burnett, or Beast Boy as many fans affectionately know him, has one of the most unique and captivating stories in the UFC today. Born on June 14, 1986 in Zaragoza, Spain, Barnett's early life was shaped by his father's career in the United States Air Force. His family didn't settle in one place until they landed in Georgia when he was around 4 years old. From a young age, Barnett seemed destined to carve out his own path, and martial arts were a huge part of his life from the start.
I'm a 3rd degree black belt. My father is a 4th degree black belt. My brother is a 4th degree black belt. My mother's testing for her 3rd degree black belt.
With both parents being black belts in Taekwondo, it was only natural that Barnett would start training in the discipline as early as 5 years old. But what really made him stand out, even then, was his agility, creativity, and charisma. Barnett wasn't just your typical martial artist. He was the life of the party. Classmates would describe him as someone who could light up any room. Picture this, Barnett randomly breakdancing in the middle of school or literally running up walls just to prove he could. This playful energy followed him into college, where he attended Campbellsville University on a wrestling scholarship, and later transferred to the University of South Florida, graduating with a bachelor's degree. While at Campbellsville, Barnett also began training in judo, adding another layer to his already impressive skill set. His entry into MMA, however, came in the most unconventional way, a dance battle. Yes, you heard that right. Someone saw his moves and suggested he give mixed martial arts a shot. The rest, as they say, is history. Barnett made his professional MMA debut in 2009, and from the get-go, he was a force to be reckoned with. Fighting primarily in Extreme Fighting Championships, he stormed out to a 5-0 start with 4 knockouts, showcasing a style that was as unorthodox as it was electrifying. His journey took him across the globe, competing in major Asian promotions like Rizin Fighting Federation, Road Fighting Championship, and Inoki Genome Federation. These were formative years where Barnett built his reputation as not just a skilled fighter, but also an entertainer who could captivate audiences with his personality and creativity in the cage. Despite his success, it wasn't until 2021, 12 years into his career, that Barnett finally got the call to join the UFC. It was a last-minute opportunity, replacing Askar Mazarov against seasoned veteran Ben Rothwell at UFC Fight Night 188. The debut didn't go as planned, with Barnett losing via submission in the second round.
Big Ben Rothwell!
But what followed was even more of a setback. He tested positive for marijuana, leading to a 4.5-month suspension. While this was undoubtedly a frustrating start to his UFC journey, Barnett wasn't about to let it define his career. Fast forward to November 6, 2021, and Barnett found himself at UFC 268 at Madison Square Garden, taking on Gian Villante in what would be Villante's retirement fight. This is where the magic happened. Barnett delivered one of the most iconic knockouts in UFC history, a spinning wheel kick that sent Villante crashing to the canvas. It wasn't just the knockout that stole the show. It was Barnett's post-fight celebration, a mix of flips, dances, and sheer joy that won over fans worldwide. The performance earned him a well-deserved Performance of the Night bonus and cemented his status as a fan favorite. But Barnett's journey hasn't been without its bumps. In April 2022, he faced Martin Buday at UFC Fight Night 206. The fight ended controversially after an unintentional elbow to the back of Barnett's head rendered him unable to continue, leading to a technical unanimous decision in Buday's favor. Despite the setback, Barnett's resilience shone through. Later that year in September, he faced Jake Collier at UFC 279. The fight was pure chaos. Barnett missed weight, coming in 1.5 pounds over the heavyweight limit, and was fined 20% of his purse. In the fight itself, he was knocked down and absorbed heavy ground and pound in the first round. But in classic Barnett fashion, he turned the tide and scored a dramatic TKO victory in the second round, proving once again that he's never out of a fight. However, Barnett's UFC career has also been marked by frequent cancellations and withdrawals. He was set to face Chase Sherman at UFC 287 in April 2023, but had to pull out for undisclosed reasons. Similar situations occurred with planned fights against Muhammad Usman and Waldo Cortez Acosta in 2024, the latter being particularly chaotic due to Hurricane Milton preventing Barnett from traveling. Most recently, he stepped in to replace an injured Justin Tafa against Kennedy Nzechukwu at UFC 308 in October 2024. but suffered a first-round TKO loss because he injured himself while jumping seconds before the fight. It's honestly mind-blowing to see someone like Chris Barnett moving the way he does. I mean, this is a guy who looks more like he should be headlining a barbecue competition than delivering one of the most jaw-dropping knockouts in heavyweight UFC history. But the thing about Barnett is, it's not just his insane jumping kicks or his flashy moves that make him special. It's his stamina. The man fights like he's built for a completely different weight class, moving at a pace and with an energy level that most heavyweights couldn't dream of matching. Think about it. Barnett isn't just carrying around an imposing figure. He's putting that size to work, throwing spinning wheel kicks and breakdancing in his celebrations. All of that takes a crazy amount of stamina, and you've got to respect that level of cardio and endurance. And yeah, sure, at first glance, he doesn't look like your typical shredded UFC fighter, but don't let the surface fool you. Beneath all that, there's no doubt some incredibly strong muscles, conditioned over years of training and carrying his own weight. That kind of functional strength is no joke, and Barnett has clearly used it to his advantage throughout his career. If you need more proof of Chris Barnett's ridiculous agility and stamina, just look at the time he raced Brendan Schaub. Yes, that Brendan Schaub.
Let's go, Chabot!
Schaub suddenly pulled up with a conveniently timed injury. Suspicious? Absolutely. Now, let's talk about that record. Over 23 wins in the heavyweight division. For someone his size, with the way he moves, that's not just impressive, it's almost unheard of. Honestly, if Barnett ever decided to slim down to a lower weight class, like light heavyweight or even middleweight, there's a good chance he'd dominate. Imagine him at 205 or even 185 pounds, leaner and faster, but still packing that same knockout power. He'd be a nightmare matchup for anyone in those divisions. But at the same time, part of what makes Barnett so unique is that he's thriving where he is. He's showing that you don't have to fit the stereotypical mold of a fighter to make an impact. And let's face it, the heavyweight division wouldn't be nearly as entertaining without his personality and explosive style in the mix. Barnett's story is one of perseverance, unpredictability, and unrelenting charisma. Whether he's pulling off spinning wheel kicks, rallying back from adversity, or entertaining fans with his larger-than-life personality, Barnett has carved out a unique niche in the MMA world. His journey hasn't been smooth, but that's part of what makes it so compelling. Barnett reminds us that fighting isn't just about wins and losses. It's about heart, creativity, and the ability to connect with fans on a personal level. What's next for Christopher Barnett? It's hard to say. His career's been a roller coaster, full of incredible highs and frustrating lows. But if there's one thing we know for sure, it's that Barnett will always find a way to keep us entertained. Whether he's spinning, flipping, or just being himself, he's a fighter who brings something special to the sport. So, do you think Barnett still has a run left in him to climb the heavyweight rankings? Or is his role as an entertainer where he truly shines? Let us know in the comments below. While you're at it, don't forget to check out our other videos on the craziest knockouts and comebacks in UFC history.